On this Thursday morning, we are taking care of business with the help of the Titusville Community Development Agencies and Deb Eckelberger joining us. Good morning, Deb. How are you?
Good. How about you today?
Wonderful. Thank you. And you have a special guest joining us.
We have a happy special guest, a smiley special guest. How's that?
A smiley special guest.
We're always smiling.
Kathy Lick joining us from Warner's Bakery. Hey, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Luke?
Wonderful. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Well, what's going on at Warner's Bakery?
We have so much going on. January's our slow month. So this is a month that we do a lot of cleaning, the deep cleaning. Move this, clean the lights, pull the light bulbs out and replace them. But at the same time, we get to practice and play with a lot of different recipes now.
Are these recipes, and this is going off of conversations we've had before, so are these recipes ones that you guys are sort of experimenting with, or you have this catalog of old recipes you found, so are you still playing with those?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we've got thousands of recipes.
Wow.
I couldn't even begin to count. I could just say thousands because there's some, I just have them wrapped in a plastic bag and tucked aside and thought, well, someday when I have time, I'll pull a couple of those out.
That you found at the bakery?
Yeah.
Oh cool,
my
like
gosh.
Treasures. It's like a treasure when you find that.
It is. It's so much like a treasure, and I see it that way in my head. Larry sees old car parts, Divco truck parts, and things like that at the bakery in the basement, and he's thinking treasure, and there's a lot of fellows who would think treasure with that, but when we open this one door to an old cabinet, here's the little wooden box. That's little
like
wooden
your grandma's
dovetailed
recipe box.
Yes, like a grandma recipe box, except these are big bakery special recipes, and you open the box and it just falls open because it's so old, and here's all these recipes, and next to it a black leather book with handwritten recipes.
Wow.
And it's like, oh my gosh, look at this one, ooh, which one do you want to try first? And the latest one we did this month that I'm really excited about because I tried it once before was the date nut bread. Mr. Warner's old date nut bread.
Oh, you dated a nut. Larry turned out to be okay, right?
Oh, he's a good cookie.
But he's been breaded ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Did you marry him because he had nice buns?
Yes. Oh. Maybe he married me for my buns.
Oh, there you go.
But the date nut bread.
This went south fast.
We tried.
Start over.
Yeah, sorry.
We tried one of the recipes I found there because a lot of times you'll find multiple recipes. So I found several for date nut bread, and I tried one, and I didn't like it. When others said, "Nah, it's not quite the same." I had a customer stop in from out of town. I mean, way like out of town. I can't remember, Kansas or something like that. And he was thrilled. Bakery was open, and he's buying stuff and tasting. He's, oh, this is great. And he's there, I have Mr. Warner's old date nut recipe. And I'm like, you do?
Wow.
I mean, that always helps to say this is it for sure. Because then I don't have to test all these others I have. These are, oh yeah, it's written on yellow paper. Handwritten. And I'm thinking that's just like Grandma's pecan cookie. Butterscotch pecan. Everybody called it Grandma's cookie. And I found that recipe upstairs in Mr. Warner's old desk drawer. And it was handwritten on yellow paper, and it was fraying on the edges and everything, and I made that up, and it's like, oh yeah, that's Grandma's cookie. And it's okay. So we call it Grandma's butterscotch pecan because that's what the recipe was actually called, but everybody said they called it Grandma's cookie. So this fella's telling me he's got a recipe on this same yellow paper. So I asked him if he'd send it to me. Well, sure enough, he sent me a copy of it on the yellow paper.
Wow.
He just Facebooked it to me. So I made that up, and oh my gosh, is it good. It is so the right recipe.
Well, here's a message from a viewer this morning that says, date bread is awesome.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So.
We did have several customers come in to get that first round, and they did say it's awesome. And I thought, wow, this is great. That will be a regular now.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So
I have to ask, it sounds like you find these things, and they're probably pretty frail. Do you transfer those onto the computer, or what do you do?
Usually I'll write them down on a separate sheet of paper, and if I have time, I'll sit at the computer, type them up, and save them in the computer, and then I also have a printed out sheet, and I'll laminate it.
Oh, nice.
Because that way, we could pull the recipe out, and I could teach somebody else how to make something.
This is an amazing history, amazing Titusville history.
Oh, I know.
How far back do you guess that these recipes go?
Oh, some of them are dated. Some of the stuff we found in the basement goes back to the 30s. And the history, before Mr. Warner, there was a Mr. Coburn. Harry Coburn was in there. And he was up front, like across from Subway. he had Coburn's Bake Shop, and Mr. Warner actually worked for him.
Aw.
And we've got pictures up in the bakery because we love the history too. So we have pictures up in the bakery of the old trucks, the Divco trucks, that says Coburn's Bakery, Warner's Service.
Wow.
Oh, cute.
And we've got pictures up so people could see that.
Do you know when Coburn's came into business? What year?
Back in the 20s.
Oh, so Larry was around for that.
That's why he knows so much about the trucks.
Oh,
He worked on them.
He knows the vehicles. He knows the vehicles well. But it's just so surprising to find stuff like that. And that's why I say there's so many old recipes, and some of them, like the brownie recipe, which
This
we've
brownie?
included here in the box. That brownie recipe, they're really thick. That's the way they come out when we make them. They're really chewy, like a real brownie, not like cake. That recipe's from 1935.
Not the cookie, the recipe.
The recipe.
Right.
From 1935. That recipe. And it's like, wow. And then we'll do cake pops. That's the newest thing. You know, the kids are liking the cake pops. So we like to keep a lot of the old-fashioned stuff, but then we like to update. But what's I consider unique about our bakery is everything's fresh, made from scratch, right there at the bakery, no preservatives. No chemicals.
Healthy living.
Yeah, I consider it healthy living. I'm a nurse. I keep my license up to date, and I feel like if you're doing it with minimum ingredients and real eggs, real milk, real butter, your body could digest that much quicker.
So talk about the overall experience of working at a bakery and that feeling that you have going in every morning. I mean, walking past as a customer, it's hard not to just kind of gravitate towards the building because it smells so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like for you every day to go in there? Is it magic for you still?
It is. It is. Matter of fact, our daughter down in Virginia sent us this little carpet that you could put in front of the cash register, and it says, the Licks, live in a dream.
Aw.
And it is. It's like every day you come in, you're happy to be there. You know, I walk in and thank you, God. You know, it's a prayer. It's my morning prayer. Thank you, God.
How can you
Here I
not
am.
be happy when
Yeah.
you walk in and you smell all those wonderful smells?
And you look at smiley cookies.
And smiley
Yeah.
cookies. Look at
Yeah. And I told Larry with
I mean, I come in every morning. I have to look at Mark.
he's a nice guy. Happy
I am
face.
just
I know.
cut
Happy
to
face.
the quick.
You're done now, Mark.
Sometimes we'll do our smiley face cookies with glasses. We give them glasses.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh, yes. Maybe
That's
we could come
something
up with
new.
a Heim cookie.
Yes,
There
we
you
could
go.
give it a little mustache,
Yeah.
and glasses. But just this morning, I was telling Larry with this awful weather we're having, I said, a smiley cookie is all it takes to make the weather better.
Aw, it does.
That's
It
nice.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
And the
But-
kids come in after school, the place looks a mess after just 2 or 3 customers come in because they have all that snow and salt, and it's like we're always going out, mop the floor, sweep the floor, clean up the salt. But it's just fun to be in there.
And I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but I do want to say this because you just reminded me of this. You are so energetic with this and so
am.
enthusiastic about what you do. You have never, not once, have I heard you say when somebody says, "Oh, you should do this." No, this is what we have. You have said, "Oh, that's a good idea." Or if somebody needs something special, they can come in and say, "Hey, how is it possible to do this?"
That is so true. We've had people come in and ask for unusual items. The most recent unusual, I would say unusual for us, is somebody comes in and says, "Do you make a vegan cake?" And I thought, well, I know what a vegan cake is. Can't say that I ever made one. But sure, we could give it a try. And then they want to know, well, what's the price? I thought, I don't know, because I don't know what ingredients I would need. So we have to play along with the process. But I'll look up some recipes. If there's things in the recipe I find that chemical, I'm not using it. I look it up to see what's it supposed to do in the recipe. Is there another substitute? So I still try to keep even the vegan and the gluten-free recipes healthy and natural. So we've done vegan cake. We're now doing vegan gluten-free chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
That, amazingly enough, most people know my son Nathaniel, 21-year-old. He came in and he had the vegan gluten-free chocolate chips, and he's holy moly, who thought these cookies would be so good? He said, if I knew vegan tasted this good, I've been eating it a long time ago. And even Larry will say the vegan chocolate chip cookies, gluten-free. There's a couple recipes I played with, and I thought, well, here, when I first tried, I put both recipes out, and I thought, I'll let the customers pick which one we're going to make. It's 50-50. I don't have anyone saying, this is the best, and that's what we're going to make. So periodically, I'll make this recipe or this one, back and forth. One of the recipes, and it just has a different, what oil I use in it, like a coconut oil or an almond oil, almond butter. My husband and son say they taste like Chips Ahoy.
Ooh.
One of the recipes tastes like Chips Ahoy. And I thought, really? And I'm thinking, I know Chips Ahoy isn't making them this way.
You just sound like you're having much too much fun with this.
I am. That's something I always encourage people, even the young kids when they're getting out of high school, if there's something you have a passion for, something you really enjoy doing, try to make it your business. It's not as hard as you might think to branch out and say, it probably would be easier for somebody who's been in the workforce for a while. They know how to deal with people. They know somewhat of a budget and how things are run. But if you're out there, even in your 20s, mid-20s, early 30s, and there's a thought in the back of your head, don't be afraid to give it a try. Just jump out there. You call Deb. She's got great ideas, so she can talk to you about it.
Don't worry, he does this frequently.
Did we get cut off?
Did we get cut off?
No, he was just out to follow his dream.
Oh!
I'm like, what happened?
Oh my gosh! Oh! Somebody go save Luke. See, Luke really likes his work too.
Honestly,
Luke,
that would be something I would do.
That is so funny.
So keep going.
But
Live TV,
that's
right,
it. It's like we've been at this now since 2009. We bought the place in 2009 out of bankruptcy. And when we first bought it, I had all these great dreams and I had the plan and I'm talking Larry into this, but Larry always wanted a restaurant. And I'm thinking, oh, Larry, there's plenty of room here. We could do the bakery in the back. We'll do a restaurant up front. You could run the restaurant and I'll run the bakery. This can be wonderful. And the first day after it was ours, we walked in. Now, we had seen it before, but after it's ours, we walked in and it's like, oh my gosh.
What were we thinking?
Yeah, that brief moment for me is like, oh my gosh, this is huge. This is ours now. Every nook and cranny, every dirty pan,
But every really cool piece of old machinery that make the spreads that Mr. Warner used.
We're using the old pans Mr. Warner used. We're using the old machinery Mr. Warner used. Ovens Mr. Warner used. And it's through a lot of hard work. That's where the dream comes in. It's like people who think, oh, I'm going to make this and I'm going to make lots of money. That's not what it's about. It's about being able to come in every day and say, man, I love doing this.
It's not everybody that likes their job.
Yeah, to love it. I mean, like, even there's days when I'll be in there 12, 14, 16, weddings, when you get a wedding cake from us, you're getting a fresh cake. There's nothing going in the freezer. So if the wedding is on Saturday, we're going to start your cake on Thursday. So you're going to have a fresh cake.
That brings up I guess a good thought. If somebody is planning, and you talk about this, and Larry and I talked about this around the holidays, how far in advance do you need to have these orders to fulfill, let's say, a wedding cake or rolls for the Memorial Day get-together or the Christmas get-together?
Christmas cookie trays. Yeah.
Christmas cookie trays. Different times of the year you need more time. Christmas time, that's obviously the most busy time in any bakery, I think, is Christmas time. Christmas, Easter, any of those holidays. 4th of July, Memorial Day.
Is that a more special time, that Thanksgiving to Christmas area?
Yes.
When I come in, it's really, again, I hate to keep saying a magical atmosphere, but it just, I don't know, it's that hometown, small town feeling you have.
Yes, and we keep that alive, I think, all year long at the bakery because we love what we're doing. And because when the kids come in, it's like we always have free samples there. We always have a pot of coffee on for the adults who come in, and it's like, oh, do you have coffee there? And especially in the summer, and people say, how much for the coffee? And it's like, oh, the coffee's free. Have a cup of coffee on us.
Oh, wow.
You're going to buy a donut, you're going to buy cake, whatever, just have a cup of coffee. I mean, it's not, and we have a few customers who will come in and go to the sample tray, because we have this old-fashioned sample tray in there. It's an old-fashioned cake pan, but it's typically in a bakery you'd think it would be clear glass so people could see what's under there. No, ours is teal colored with aluminum from the 50s.
It's got the 50s look.
It matches the decor of the bakery, and people love it. They come in, and then you open it up, and it's like, whoa, I love it more.
Wow.
Well, we have people who come in, and they'll get a cup of coffee and some samples, and they'll sit at our table. We have one little table in there. So there's certain regulars we have, and then they'll spend money periodically through the year, different times. It's like, well, this week, I've got money here, let me have this, let me have this.
You're bringing foot traffic into your store, and they're telling other people, so it's that goodwill that that is very valuable. Yeah.
And then just recently we got a rack, a card rack, display rack. We picked it up at a school that was closing over in Clarion. Really nice rack. And now we're filling that with all the information about the area. The trails.
Maps.
We have the bike trail. We've got maps. We've got what's going on if you're into fishing, hunting. We go to the courthouse and we get those little books that tell you what's the hunting season, what you could hunt and everything.
Bull Creek State Park maps.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of good
we
stuff
have all
in there.
kind of good stuff, and we just leave it there so people who are just traveling through or whatever and they're interested, they could grab anything off the rack, or they could ask us questions. Larry and I are all well versed what's available in the community throughout our Tri-County area.
She participates in several organizations and groups that are region-wide as well.
True.
So your energy goes not just in the cookies, but it goes every different direction. So you're doing all kinds of creative things to help grow your business and our town.
Yeah, and see, that's it too. It's not just to grow your business. As the town grows, or as people realize, wow, Titusville, what a fabulous place to visit. The OCT Railroad, oh, that is so cool. And I don't know if people realize it or not, but the OCT Railroad has the ability to postmark a letter or a postcard on their train. That's very old-fashioned. Years ago, all your trains had a postcard on the train. I think OCT is the only one now that has that.
Cool.
So for somebody who's collecting stamps or train paraphernalia, things like that, that's a great thing.
It's a great place to go.
All right, Kathy, I have a couple more questions for you. We're running out of time. This has been a great segment. We always love having you on.
Should do an hour's worth for her.
Now I forgot the question. No, you have great people working at the bakery. Talk about some of the folks you have there.
Yes, we do.
Because, you work hard, the others work hard.
Yeah.
Larry sits in the corner and...
See, and I don't like to talk about the people that work there because don't know if they want their name mentioned or anything.
Sure.
But
you have great people.
But I do have great people, and I could tell you, Hillary works for us. She's like
fantastic.
my right-hand man, right-hand woman, whatever you will. She can bake as well as I can bake.
Oh.
And she has gotten so good at it, it's a relief for me because I don't have to worry about the brownies she makes. She follows the recipe, makes the best brownies. She could do the cookies. She could do all the cookies in there. She could do the frosting. She could do the fillings for the donuts, which is another big thing. People don't realize a lot of the donuts you're getting out there have been baked somewhere else, who knows where, but they've been baked somewhere else. There have been preservatives pumped into them, and then they're sent out to these bakeries, and then the bakery just pops them in the oven and heats them up and maybe frost them for you. We're making them there. We're making the filling, and it's
And
like
you guys
Hillary.
have coffee there, too.
And we have coffee
not
to
just
go
the
with
fresh
them.
stuff, but
Right.
you've got bags of
That's
coffee.
true.
You can
We
purchase.
sell our coffee. I mean,
And-
that's why we give away free, because we
Right.
figure people enjoy it and say, hey, let me get a bag of that.
I joke about Larry, but Larry's a great guy, and you guys have grown the business. You're in Tynesta in the summer months all the way
Yes.
through fall, and he is over there almost daily.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend in
So
Tynesta.
he works really hard, and I know he loves what he does. And
Yeah. And the customers come. People just keep coming, and it's mostly word of mouth. We've done a lot of advertising. We've done advertising here on the stream, and we've done some in the paper. And periodically, the wedding season, we'll put something in the paper for the wedding season. We will be doing one wedding show. It's just something we started last year, and that's at the Bell's Letter Club over in Oil City. They asked us if we'd come back, and we thought, okay, it's not a real big
When is
show.
that?
That's the last Sunday in January.
So
I think
coming
it's-
up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Good.
Kathy, last question. You talked about the great history. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind?
And that's interesting too, because I hear people coming in all the time, and some of the older people remember Mr. Coburn, And they'll talk,
Really?
yeah, Harry Coburn. They'll remember Harry, and they'll talk about, oh yeah, I remember we'd come in and get this and that. But then the majority of people come in, they remember Mr. Warner because he was in there. His business started 1949. So most of the people will remember Mr. Warner. I am hoping down the line that when I'm long gone or wherever, that there'll be somebody who comes into the bakery, and I'm hoping it'll still be there. I'm looking for a successor. I'm looking for someone who's young, who's interested in this and would be interested, because, you can't last forever. You got to plan for when I leave, who's next? Who can carry on this tradition? I'm just hoping somewhere down the line there's going to be people coming in saying, oh my gosh, I remember Kathy Lake. She was so cool. She'd give us cookies. Even if we didn't have money. The kids love that when they come in and they 46 cents and there's 3 kids. Wow. What can we get? We have 46 cents. And I'm there, well, what do you want? So I want that memory to go with the kids. I want them to know that, yeah, that bakery we could go to any time.
People or pets?
People or pets, yes. And I do have this here. I bought my little puppy dog treats in. We do dog treats with doggy biscuits. Again, all natural. Every now and then you hear these horror stories about they're doing a recall on this and that in the dog market because it killed some dogs. I thought, oh my gosh, that's awful. We're doing all natural dog treats. We'll make them with pumpkin, molasses, applesauce, eggs. We'll put eggs in there.
Don't give out the secret recipe.
Oh,
Kathy?
Come get them. Come try
Kathy, real quick, we're down to 10 seconds. What are the hours and how can folks get a hold of you?
Call 827-2330. Look us up on Facebook, Warner's Bakery, all one word, on Facebook. We're working on a website. If you went to Warner's Bakery, the website right now probably just sends you to our Facebook. And we are open Tuesday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock. And then Saturdays we're open 9 to 4.
Right.
Closed Sunday and Monday.
Kathy Lick, taking care of business with Warner's Bakery. Deb, Kathy, thank you so much. Larry,
Thank you.
Thank you guys, as always.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Final look at news coming up next.